Good morning, everyone. It's I'm laughing. I'll tell you why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because over the last few days, I've discovered a couple of people who have listened in, and my friend Tony, who I was out with on Friday, was impersonating my morning, and it made me chortle because it was absolutely spot on. So morning to Tony, if you're having a listen, and morning to Bruce if you're having a listen as well. Discovered Bruce has a listen in from time to time. Very exciting, very good. It's lovely to find out that people are having a watch, and I don't know, maybe it's of some use. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? Um, so anyway, I'm going to have to get my act together. It's 9:05 here, isn't it? On Monday, the 23rd of August. I'm going to have to get my act together because next week, well, next Monday is Bank Holiday Monday. If you're in England, is next Monday a UK bank holiday? I don't know. Anyway, um, next Monday is a bank holiday, but then on the Tuesday I'm back to work. What's that all about? Back to work. Um, so this will just have to happen so much earlier. How am I going to do that? Because find myself doing other stuff to get me to this point now. Anyway, so I'm going to have to get my act into gear. So if you are tuning in at 8:30, 9 o'clock at the minute, you're probably going to find me at like 7:30, 8 o'clock from next week. But we'll see what happens. You never know. You never know. So juggling all of your balls is today's thing. Now I've just come across this, and I was reading something, and this wasn't quite how it was being used, but I suddenly thought about jugglers. Um, Fascinating, aren't they? Jugglers. I'm sure the balls are chainsaws sometimes, but I'm going to stick to juggling with balls, I suppose. Um, and I thought, as I do, juggling was a great analogy for planning. Now, honestly, if you're sick of me talking about planning, right, just tell me, and I'll spend a week talking about physical things like exercise and nutrition and sleep and stuff, because I do neglect talking about those things, and those things are really important, and those are some of the things that we also have to kind of juggle into our lives, I suppose. But so just tell me when you're sick of me talking about planning, will you? I mean, I'm never going to get sick of talking about planning. That's the thing. I'm never going to get sick of talking about it because it's an obsession. It's a good obsession, but nevertheless, it is an obsession. Um, we spend a huge amount of time, a huge amount of our lives juggling things, don't we? Stuff at work, stuff with family, stuff with friends, getting this done, getting that done, trying to keep all of our metaphoric balls in the air. And it's worth watching. This is where it comes down to planning. It's worth watching a juggler, proper juggler, juggling. It's worth watching this. Have a Google. I watched a few people just to check that this was spot on and right. I watched a few people juggle on YouTube. There's loads of them, and there's lots of great tutorials. I think when I get to the point, I'm going to use this analogy in my presentations that I do about self-care and productivity. I'm going to learn. I think I'm going to learn to juggle. That's my challenge. I'm going to learn to juggle so I could actually juggle um, while illustrating this point about planning. So it's worth watching a juggler if you haven't for a while. Although I'm sure, I don't know, you'll have seen one on some ridiculous show like Britain's Got Talent or something like that. The key component of juggling is uh, catching, surely. Yeah, because if you don't catch the ball or the chainsaw or whatever you happen to be, or the elephant or whatever you happen to be juggling with, if you don't catch it, then you can't do the next thing with it, which is to throw it. So catching and throwing, I'd argue, and if any of you are jugglers, please contradict me, I'd argue that catching and throwing are the key components of juggling. But if you watch the juggler, what are they looking at? Because I'll tell you what they're not looking at. They're not looking at their hands. They're not looking at the catching and throwing. Um, they're not intently focused on that at all. What they're doing is they're watching the balls flow through the air. The catching and the throwing is almost happening instinctively, is almost happening intuitively. They're watching the balls move through the air to predict where the balls are going to go next and adjusting their hands. Now, their hands, I'd imagine, and I'll tell you as I learn how to juggle, their hands are probably in their peripheral vision. So they're still within their world, they're still there, but they're not the thing that they're focused on. They're like this, aren't they? I'm doing it without the balls. So they're like this. Because I suppose they're aware of where their hands are because they're on the end of their arms. Yeah? But they need to keep track of where the balls are. You see where this is going? Um, they only glance at their hands briefly. I've kind of spotted that. So what's going on with their hands is automatic because they know what they're going to do with what's going on in their hands. They're going to catch and throw. They're focused on planning for the next catch and throw. That's where they're setting their attention. And they're completely focused. They're completely focused in that moment. They're completely focused on what they're doing. They're in a state that I've talked about before of flow, completely absorbing what they're doing. They must be. I know they're doing it in front of an audience, but if they were distracted by what's going on in the audience, they would muck up. And I know this for a fact because yesterday I was playing my guitar and singing at at the One-Eyed Stag up in Wickham, and it was lovely. It was really nice to kind of get back out again and do that because it's been over a year since I last played live music, and musicians get into a state of flow when they're playing. I can honestly, sometimes I get to the end of a song, or I get halfway through a set, and I think, have I played such and such, and I can't remember playing it really. I kind of got a vague idea I played, but I'm not sure because you get into a state of flow. And what I do know is, and this happened yesterday. I spotted that someone was videoing me on their phone, and as soon as I spotted that someone was videoing my phone, I started mucking up because I wasn't in that. I'd been drawn out of that state of flow um, into the room rather than internally in flow. I was in the room, um, so it's easy to disrupt that state of flow. So if you're juggling, which I'd argue is probably a bit harder than playing guitar. I don't know, might not be. I might be doing guitar players a disservice there. But as soon as your attention's drawn away from the task that you need to be focused on, the complex and difficult task you're meant to be focused on, then you lose that state of flow. Anyway, so this is just like planning. If we've planned meticulously and we keep a routine focus on the planning, so like I've said before, I plan on a morning. Well, I suppose go back. I plan on a Friday afternoon or whatever the last day of your week is for the following week. So that sets up the plan. Sometimes I plan a month ahead, 3 months ahead. Every once in a while I have a year ahead plan. But anyway, on a Friday I plan for the following week. Then on a Monday morning I reconnect myself with the plan for Monday. And I have a quick look at the rest of the week, but I reconnect myself crucially with the plan for Monday. I have a look at the balls that I've got in the air. Yeah, make sure I know where all the balls are that I've got in the air. And then once I've done my planning for the day and I make sure I've got everything aligned, I set about catching each of those balls. And I set my attention to the task of whatever this ball that I've just caught demands of me. And then once I'm finished with this ball, I throw the ball. And metaphorically now, because I'm not throwing a ball, what I do with that is I either throw it into the finished, complete, done pile, or I throw it into the, actually I haven't got to the end of this, I've just done part of it, what's the next step? And I plan that in to my diary, what's the next step? Or what am I left with? What have I not managed to get done in the time I allocated? And I move on to the next thing. And then I work my way through the day like that, catching each ball in turn, dealing with each ball in turn. And then at the end of the day, I have a recap of what I've done, which balls I caught and which balls I didn't get around to catching, and I move them somewhere. And then at the end of the day, I have a plan for tomorrow. Yeah, and maybe the day after, at least the next day. And then the next day, I sit at the desk and plan that day again. Now it's quick; it doesn't take long. People keep saying I haven't got time to do all this, Steve. Well, it doesn't take long because I planned it the night before. And that didn't take long because I planned it the weekend before. So it's crucial to get that. Once you get everything in a plan, once you get everything in a plan, it's easy to keep kind of rejigging the plan because you've got it all in a plan already. So it becomes quite quick to kind of do. Um, so the planning is the watching the balls in the air to figure out where they're going. Do I need to shuffle a bit this way? Do I need to shuffle a bit that way? Do I need to move my hands forward to catch the next ball? Do I need to lean backwards? All that kind of stuff. So the planning is absolutely crucial to making sure you catch the right ball at the right time to do something with it. So there you go. So the juggling analogy, as I've now called it in my notes and stuff, and I'm going to weave that into the presentations that I'm doing this week. So I'm doing a couple this week. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, Roman, probably given his name, I'd imagine, said, "Assemble your life action by action." That's planning, isn't it? That's planning. Consolidate your tasks into allocated times. Plan. Figure out where the balls are in the air so you're ready to catch them when you need to. Have good days, and we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm delivering a presentation at 9:30. I think it's 9:30, 9 or 9:30. I can't remember exactly. 9:30. So I'm delivering a presentation at 9:30. So if I do manage to get in here tomorrow, maybe a bit earlier. Maybe to get in the habit of being a bit earlier, ready for next week. So take care, and we will definitely speak soon. See ya.